Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome to a new video. My name is Prince Mason. Today I have a very exciting video for you that will make you think I was sponsored by Canon, but I'm not. And I'm just saying amazing things about a camera that I think is the best camera I have used. No, I know it's definitely the best camera I've used since I started photography, which is like 10 years ago. Yeah, I know that's not such a long time, but you guys understand what I'm saying. It is the best camera overall that I've used in such a long time. And I want to tell you 5 reasons why I think you should buy the Canon EOS R5 if you're looking at buying a new camera. So let's get straight into today's video. Like I said, this video is not sponsored by Canon. I have not been sponsored by anybody on this channel yet, but if you're looking to sponsor a video, then definitely reach out. You guys get what I'm saying. But yeah, this is just a camera that I bought with my own money and a camera that I absolutely love using. In fact, it has taken me back to when I really loved shooting and I just want to shoot so much stuff with this camera. That's how great this camera is. So let's talk about 5 reasons why I think you should get the Canon EOS R5 if you're looking to get a new camera. Now, the first one is the sensor, right? This giant piece of whatever that is inside here. It is huge. The sensor is 45 megapixels, and yes, the Sony I was using before was about 42 point something or somewhere around that, but almost the same thing. So if that's the camera that you're using, then there's really no need to upgrade if you're just looking at upgrading for the megapixels of the camera. But just saying, this is absolutely huge, and for everything that it can do, it's not just the megapixels, the sensor. You have the low light performance, which is amazing according to what I've heard, but I've never shot this in low light, so I really don't know. You guys know I shoot in the studio mainly, and shooting in the studio means controlled light, and I shoot exactly the way I want my stuff to look like. Yeah, you guys get it? Okay, great. Now, since I shoot in the studio, one thing I look out for is dynamic range, right? Okay, so if I shoot and the power of the image is dark and I'm trying to recover that power of the image, how much noise is going to be there? Trust me, this camera is really clean when it comes to recovering shadows. So the dynamic range on this camera is absolutely amazing. 45 megapixels, more than enough, more than you probably ever need in your photography career. Now, Canon has this thing where you don't actually have to shoot with the whole resolution of the camera. You can shoot with either the full RAW, the medium RAW, or the small RAW, I think. But I mean, if you don't need that, let's say you just need that sometimes and all the time, then I mean, this camera still gives you that amazing sensor on this camera. The performance from this is just great for what I do, which is mainly studio and portrait photography. So put that back in mind. Another reason why I think you should absolutely get this camera if you're looking at an upgrade is the ergonomics. Holding this camera is just amazing. You know, it's crazy how everybody's looking for a smaller camera nowadays. Everybody wants a tiny camera, smaller body, you know, fit a full frame sensor into the smallest body ever. That's what a lot of people are looking for. But I think I'm kind of like an old head, right? Like, I really loved how the old cameras looked and felt, and I still love how this camera feels. And it just feels like a refined 5D Mark IV. It's just great. Like, the grip where your hands go into, look at this. This is just amazing, really nice to hold, and if you turn it the other way, absolutely nice to hold too if you buy it with the grip. So this camera is amazing. Like, everything, look at the whole buttons on the camera, everything fits everywhere that are supposed to be. So let's just say right here you have your mode dial, you have everything. The shutter, if you just put your hands here, it goes directly on the shutter button. I cannot tell you how much this camera is a joy to hold and shoot with. Trust me, it's like Canon have been doing it for like how many years now. They know exactly where to put every button that you need, and it's just nice. Another thing I'm just going to mention is the EVF. The EVF on this camera is just really good. It's the best EVF ever on a Canon camera. Now, another thing I want to talk about when it comes to this camera is how easy it is to go through the menus, and you really do not have to get into the menu itself to be able to change a lot of things in this camera. It's touchscreen, so that's amazing, and the touchscreen works, unlike some other cameras I've used in the past that the touchscreen only works if you are doing a certain thing. But for this one, the touchscreen works perfectly, seamlessly. It's almost like you're using a smartphone. That's how good this is. So when it comes to usability, handling, the weight, everything, this camera was made perfectly. Trust me, you would love it if you get it. Well, that's if you have hands like mine. So look, measure those hands, make sure they are like mine, and you'd love it. So let's move to the next point. So next now I'll talk about is compatibility with EF and RF lenses. Now, other cameras have this thing and you know, they work, but this works seamlessly. In fact, let's just put it this way. When you put your EF lenses with the adapter on this camera, it's almost like this camera supercharges your other EF lenses. That's how crazy it is. Like I use 100mm, and with my other Canon cameras, my other Canon EF cameras, the autofocus was so slow and so bad, always hunting. It was just never. But trust me, with this camera, it almost seems like the lens is a newer lens. It feels like the lens has just changed overnight. It just works seamlessly, trust me. In fact, it's so good that you can take that 100mm and go shoot sports. You're not gonna get 10 out of 10 pictures, but I'm just trying to explain how good this is. So the autofocus on this camera with the EF lenses, amazing. Now with the RF lenses, I'm just trying to imagine how it's going to be. And talking about compatibility, right? Let's just move into autofocus, which is the fourth reason why I think you should buy this camera. The autofocus on this thing is beastly. It is so good. The autofocus is so great. Trust me. I know it feels like I'm talking like I'm sponsored, but I bought this camera with my money and I absolutely love this camera. So no, I'm not sponsored. We're going to talk about a few things I don't like, hopefully at the end. But there isn't much not to like with this particular camera. So let's move to the next thing. The fifth reason why I think you should absolutely buy this camera, the video. Now I know this camera is going a lot of bad rep for the video. I get it. There are other dedicated cameras for videos. I have a dedicated camera for video, but when you're buying this camera, trust me, you're going to be buying it for the photography. It is amazing, but for the video side, it's picking up. So this camera right now has C-Log 3, which is what I shoot in mostly, and it's great. So I can mix the images from this camera, or the footage from this camera, with footage from the C500 Mark II. That's 1, 2. This camera now has 1080p 120 frames per second, so you're not stuck on 4K 120. It has raw light right now for the 8K. The upgrades keep coming, and the video just keeps getting better. Now, I haven't had to deal with overheating with this camera because I do not shoot most of my videos with this camera, but every time I've shot with this camera, it's never overheated. It is just great. The quality out of this camera is amazing when it comes to video. Trust me, you're absolutely going to love it. I'm not going to talk too much about videos because this is like more of like a photography channel, even though hopefully I'll do a lot more video tutorials in the future. But yeah, this camera is absolutely amazing. Like these are 5 reasons why I think you should definitely consider this camera if you're in the market for a new camera. And let's talk about a few things I don't like about this camera. The first thing is the battery, right? The battery life does not last as much as it used to before, but I have a grip, I have 2 batteries in here, and I have never actually run out of power with this camera. So that's one thing. Another thing that I do not like about this particular camera is the price. I wish it was cheaper, just saying. But apart from those 2 things, I think this camera is absolutely great. If you use this camera, or if you know anything about this camera and you want to let me know the amazing things about this camera or the not so great things about this camera, then put in the description below. Remember, I'm telling you what I think about this camera based on what I do, so I advise you watch other tutorials, other videos, and maybe get your hands on this, use it, and see if you love it. Anyways, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you're looking to support this channel, subscribe. If you want to support this channel further, give it a thumbs up. If you want to support further, then go to my digital store and check out all the amazing products I have for sale and for free on there. I'll put a link in the description below. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have an amazing day. Peace out, guys.